Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Zest to Zen, where we will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, for fueling your passion and finding your peace. I feel like we need the peace today.
Yeah, I know. Where did that come from, right?
It's been a strange day for me. I don't know about you.
Being creative, right? With the creative
Sorry?
consciousness. Being creative with the creative consciousness.
Oh, what a topic, hey?
Um,
Actually, this shows though, doesn't it? It doesn't matter how conscious, how present you can be, you still, that doesn't mean peace all the time. Not saying that today wasn't peaceful, not at all. But just because you might be present and conscious, that does not mean that opportunities to challenge you and to potentially get you to react will not still enter your life.
Sure. So it's a great topic you selected, Shel. And
Thank you.
yeah, creative consciousness, right? It's like a
Yeah,
state of
something I'm very
awareness, no?
passionate about.
State of
Sorry?
awareness. It's like a state of awareness that can open you up
Yeah.
to many, so many directions, no?
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
It was actually inspired by my newsletter article that I write once a week at the moment on
Okay.
LinkedIn, which
Uh-huh.
is Master Conscious Creation, which sounds like such a mouthful. I just kind of wanted a little bit of an out there creative title, but ultimately, AKA, are you present? Are you listening? Are you focusing? That's what it pretty much means.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So you publish like once a week article. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. So, and yeah, it's growing really well. Really amazing responses. Which I'm really happy about. So if you would like to check it out, of
Yeah,
course, go
no?
onto my LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would love to know what you think about my articles.
And we can put a link on the post or the video also, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
would be
would be
nice.
amazing.
Uh,
Yeah.
so this is like
So
being yeah.
no. Carry on.
uh,
Yeah.
it's like being connected with here yourself as well as the entire universe, right? I mean, it's like
Mm.
creative consciousness.
Yes. Yes. Um, the actual article that I wrote yesterday was using the kind of the idea of an artist and essentially painting your own life as an example. And the reason why I chose that was because, yes, things will show up in our life that, that maybe we aren't consciously creating, that will kind of send little distractions or diversions or, yeah, just things to kind of test us, to kind of see how we will react to them. But ultimately, pretty much, especially at the start of my day, I set an intention and I have a kind of idea of how I'd like my day to go. Because I think if we are always just blindly wandering through and just kind of being a little bit like naive, like, oh, at the right time, this will happen, I'm sure of it, and then just waiting, that's not really taking the reins and using the kind of the balance of the masculine and the feminine, because masculine isn't about being a man. So when people say masculine, I think people think that you're talking about men. It's not about men. It's about balancing that surrender and flow and trust, but then also having that drive and that action and being like, no, I'm going to make this happen. I don't have to wait a month. I want this now. And I have the adrenaline and the drive to make it happen now. What step do I need to take now? Boom, plant the seed and then
Mhm.
surrender into the fact that it will happen. The right people will come. And I think that's the balance, because I think, particularly right now, I don't know what your thoughts are of it, but we're in a very masculine driven world where, it's like, go, 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 go.
Mhm.
And it's like, sometimes you can't even process, be present, be conscious, because it's so coming at you from every angle. And it's not like rise of the feminine, and now, it's really important for us all to just surrender and, be in self-love. No, it's a balance of both. Having that adrenaline, that protection, that stability, as well as honoring yourself and feeling your emotions and just knowing it will happen. Like, there's a
Mhm.
very difference in the energy, and you can't have do 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 and also you need to have
Mhm.
the balance,
Balance.
harmonious balance.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. And we see like even nature, this balance happens, no? Well, I just saw like when, for example, when people cook in a like a fire stove or something, uh,
Mm.
then it could be pasta or rice or anything, right? Then it
Yes.
starts boiling, no? Then what happens is like
Mm.
it overflows and then slowly
Yeah.
pours and then goes back to the stove. It doesn't stop the
Mm.
stove totally, but it reduces the fire, right? In a
Yeah.
natural way, no? So likewise,
Yeah.
the energy build up to such a stage, it needed the opposite, no? So water was there to help, and it
Mm.
actually went back to the stove, and and it started, and then the
Mm.
bubbles went down, no? So like that, there is a process in
Yeah.
nature also. So we are also part of nature, yeah. So and
Yeah.
these things should be balanced, no? The combination
Exactly.
as well as the balance.
Yeah. I really love that you mentioned that, because the way I see that particular example, which I see with a lot of um very masculine energy, is, talking about that and that bubbling and getting to the surface and then
Mhm.
and I think, does it have to get to that point where you are literally bubbling so much, or at such a high kind of pressure, that you have to almost be taken down to a level where you have to be forced to let it go? And it's like, that's why I think it's so important to be conscious and be present and have both the energies in mind, so that you know when to strike that balance, when to go for that goal, when to have that collaboration. But then you also know that today, today I'm gonna actually just relax today. And I think that's important, because I feel like when we are too much of another thing, we kind of get pushed, or we kind of get pulled, depending on which energy we're in. And it's like, rather than someone pushing us out of the pot to, pour out, or someone pushing us into the pot, it's like, let's be conscious, let's be present, and take the reins, take control, kind of navigate and see which energy and which direction we want to go in.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, actually, like in some practices also they say, even martial arts and all. Uh, so when
Mm.
there's a bigger force come from the opposite, you use lesser force, and when there's the upper
Yeah.
side energy, you use more energy. And there was one tradition that occurred actually. A person saw there was a snake and a crane in like a fight mode. So every blow the snake would do, the crane would just
Mm.
use his light feathers and just evade them, or block them.
Yeah.
So it was a
Mm.
feather, gentle feather with toxic venom and everything coming onto it. We
Mm.
should just use his feathers and block it. And yeah,
Wow.
so likewise in nature,
Yeah.
animal kingdom, everywhere, even in our bodies, right? This balance.
Yeah.
So sometimes we are thirsty and we feel like our body is stiff, no, and all, no, and then when you drink some fluids or no something like, and then or we do something to the body, something like that, then it brings the opposite effect. even things like massage or something like that, right? You could do something and then you feel very stiff, and you do some, it becomes better, right? So
Yeah.
there we can see it even in food, no? So it seems everywhere, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Now
so
when you think it, I was like, oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's so true.
So what is the difference between like consciousness? I'm telling you not to put you in the deep end there. And
Yeah.
then consciousness and the creative consciousness. Okay, consciousness in many places it's meant
Mhm.
as the mind, right? Huh?
Yeah.
So when you say creative consciousness, how does that apply?
So for me, it's thinking outside of the box
Mm,
because ultimately, there are leaders. And if we want to initiate new ideas, we want to really create ultimately a new world, a new way of thinking, a new way of acting. So, like what we've just talking about now, of it's not that tricky to see just by analyzing and seeing how businesses are run, how kind of people are almost showing up to dating, to just various aspects of their life. It's very like quantity, 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 but it's almost lost the quality.
mhm,
Not saying like anything against dating apps and things, but it's kind of like we almost have too much of everything, of too much energy, too much adrenaline, too many options, that we are just constantly looking for the next thing, and we're not focusing, we're not really honing in and thinking, what do I want? So I think when I think of creative consciousness, it's like, okay, how can I creatively in this moment show up and be of service or of value or whatever the intention is? But how can I do it in a new way, in a way that now isn't all about just masculine energy? It's that balance of masculine and feminine. Because, for example, I have probably 2 times a day or more people constantly saying, I have a proven strategy and I will get you 45 clients for your empowerment coaching. And this will happen now. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. First of all, I don't want 45 clients a week. Like, what is this? What is this? A cattle run? Like, okay, next. And I'm sitting living my life on a laptop. No, thank you. That's not
mhm,
the whole reason why I generated certain ideas and certain ways of living, to sit on a computer all day and just to just be. And it's no offense to
for
the
sure.
person and their strategy, and I'm sure it works. But this is very like money, get the people, go. And it's like, okay,
Mhm,
stop. What is the intention? What is the focus here? You know, if we are, I'm labeling myself as an empowerment coach or a motivational speaker, and
mhm.
then I'm just thinking about the money and churning through people, that doesn't feel very empowering to me.
Yeah.
So I think we need to like, actually, there were times when I was just politely kind of sending a very generic message back of like, like, oh, thank you. If I ever feel like this service, I'll let you know. And it's kind of like stringing people on a little bit, even though I knew that I didn't align with it. And it's not saying now that I'm like I'm sending out something else, but what we think, what we say, ultimately is influencing and changing other people's ways of thinking. So I'm not saying those people are now going to change their way, but me just kind of giving them the idea that maybe just not now, I'm not interested in that, is still kind of implying to them that this is the way of thinking. This is the way that is really a good way of running a business in my eyes going forward. And it's not for me personally. So it's like now, from love and kindness, I actually send back the truth that I'm sure this strategy works really great for you, but this is not in alignment with my business. And I actually send out in not necessarily a masculine, feminine conversation way because I want people to all understand
Mhm.
um, my messages. But I send it out in a way that, I know it gets them thinking because they reply and we start having a conversation. And
Mhm.
that's a conscious, creative way of being in my authenticity, my values, my intentions, but still not just kind of leaving old ways of thinking, old ways of working to just continue to just churn out and people thinking that this is the highest, maybe the most empowering way. And in some businesses, maybe that is what they want. They just want the
Mhm.
money, they don't really care. But
Mhm.
for me, service is my number one. Whether I have one client, whether I have 100 clients, whether I go to an event, whether I speak, whether I collaborate, does not matter. So, yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, wonderful. So this opens up many doors, pathways, no? So like you mean like sometimes as your example also, no? So we would point blank say something, or maybe I'll get back to you later, no? But if you even within this scenario you explain, we can use this like creative thinking, no? Or creative consciousness.
Mm,
So usually we have heard like the consciousness receives what the process brings. It's the
mm-hmm.
knowing factor.
Yes.
But when you add the
Yeah.
creative consciousness, that's a new thing, right? A whole new game,
Yes.
like no, with the
Yeah.
and definitely,
Definitely.
I believe what you say, like beyond the boxes, beyond the labels, beyond the limitation of frames, no, all these things.
Yeah.
But it
Mm.
can be creative
Yeah.
within the frame as well as out of the frame also, no?
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Um, Definitely.
So is it always focused on a higher purpose?
Sorry.
Is it like this creative consciousness? Is it always focused on a higher purpose?
So it's not always just creative, but because I'm very passionate about creativity and I really do believe that when you connect to joy, um, which is a really high vibration,
Mhm.
that I just believe that, not everything has to be hard work and tiring hours and exhausting options. Like I just like these types of words and ways of thinking like already feel very heavy on my heart. Um like I just tried to see like even in an article I wrote recently of like I get to just changing that thinking of, do you know what? I get to speak to
Mhm.
these people that have messaged me today. I had the opportunity to connect with these people all over the world and have these incredible conversations, and you never know what will come of it. I get to do this.
Mhm.
Like it's very, very different energy instead of like, oh, I've got to reply to these people. Like already that's just first of all, I also feel like energy is felt, and people can feel when you reply from a place of love in your heart
Mhm.
and when you kind of just generically churn out a response because you want to get your like count up or you want to get your followers up. um yeah, I just think we just need to kind of strip things back a little bit. Like, what are we focusing on? Are we focusing on the numbers or are we focusing on the impact?
Mhm.
So, and I feel like everything comes hand in hand anyway. When you're in your heart, you're in your joy, you're in your highest creative expression, it all comes together anyway.
And the rest will follow also, no?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, when you can present something quality. I also saw like
Exactly.
somebody talking about it, and then yeah, the time we cannot expand the time, no? It is how it is, but if you bring up the quality in things, that can change a lot of
Mm,
things, right? Just like what you
yeah,
mentioned, no?
definitely. Mm,
Quantity wise versus quality, no?
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. There's that example, isn't there, of like selling a pen.
Mm-hmm. What is
It's
that?
like, I know that sounds so random, but it's
Mm.
like when you really think about the powerful impact of that, if you're really putting your heart and soul and passion into to describing this pen, this incredible pen, and like this pen literally, like when I write with it, it just magic comes on my screen, and it's like it just opens up, all different ways of thinking. And I love this pen. Like you see it, and it's like all of a sudden people are like, I want this pen, I want this pen. The pen.
Uh-huh.
That it's kind of that, and it's not manipulation, not at all, like saying, but like obviously if you're doing it and you're showing that you can connect to that energy and ultimately sell something, that's different. But if you're living in that truth and like you generally have created like a digital program or a piece of artwork or something, and you are so proud of it and you cannot wait to share it with the world,
Mm-hmm.
that is foul. And people are like, I want that. I want that. I don't know why, but I want that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, being conscious present, like, when you're doing your paintings or you're creating your course, are you like, oh, I've got to record another video today? Or are you like, okay, actually, this is the feminine and the masculine energy. Do you know, actually, today, I promised myself that I would film it, but today, right now, I want to be in the right energy to film it. So I'm not going to film it today. Now, that's the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of mothering, the loving. You're back. So are you being conscious and present?
Yeah.
Too present that you were just frozen in time. So thinking about that, and thinking about maybe to our audience listening of how to know if we are being conscious and present.
Mm-hmm.
A thing that I find is a really great example that I actually used to do a lot of when I was younger, and I can now, through interactions with different people, know if they are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's when someone is talking, if you are waiting to speak.
Mm-hmm.
If you are literally waiting for the pause to then share what you need to say, you're not being present and conscious. Because often now, when you listen, when you truly listen to really value the other person's words, often I forget what I was going to say
Mm-hmm.
because my thoughts are coming at a point of something they've said. And if I'm now trying so hard to remember, oh, I need to say that, 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 I'm not listening to you anymore. So the moment when I realized that I never used to be conscious and present, I was always waiting for my time to speak, which is not actually really saying a lot about the value of the other person's words. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we really valued the other person's words, then why would we be waiting, feeling like what we have to say is more important?
Mm-hmm.
So the moment I started being really conscious and present of like today, and it was really hard for me. It was very, very hard. Like imagine years and years and years of like just kind of function in that way of like basically everyone is just waiting to speak. Like, oh hi, how are you doing? Yeah, how are you? Do. And it's like you're constantly like diving in to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it's very exhausting. And you've exchanged all these words and all these like emotions, but when you stop and you actually think about it, none of us have gained anything. We've
Mm-hmm.
just kind of verbally bleh at each other, and then we just go bye. And it's like it's almost like you just offload onto somebody with your words.
Mm-hmm.
Um so actually being conscious and present now, one, is so much more harmonious, so much more like balanced. And two, you really savor those words. And when you really listen, really, really listen, you often learn something new.
Mhm.
Or you can be of service and you can give a little back.
Mhm.
Because when you're waiting, that's taking, because it's like I have something really important to say.
Mhm. So
Um,
wait a
so
minute.
yeah,
So like now when you our adults and are able to say like wait to until your turn comes, right? It's not polite to jump in and talk, right? And like then how does that apply?
I mean, the intention behind why you're waiting. That's what I should have made really clear. Um, because obviously we need to wait in order for the other person to finish. But I mean, like, while we're waiting, are we really, really listening to their message and then just organically speaking in response to what we heard when they finally finish? Or are we holding on to something they said and waiting to reply? Yeah, I think that's important that that's clearly but think about that. Think
Huh?
about that. That's actually societal programming. Literally exactly
Sure,
what you
sure.
just said. And we say this to children. We say,
Yeah. No?
wait for your turn, wait for your turn. So we are actually programming them that they are supposed to wait for their turn. So
Mhm.
they're like, I have to wait. I have to wait. So they're not listening to anyone because it's like, oh, that mouse moving. So I have to wait. I have to wait. Yes, the mouse stops. Go. It's like we actually unconsciously are programming them.
Mhm.
Whereas actually, no, like that's a really valuable point because no, we need to that whole way of speaking is completely wrong.
Mhm.
Because actually, if we're waiting, then we're not valuing the other person's words or input
Mhm.
or knowledge or wisdom or whatever they're sharing. Um, And yeah, so it was really tricky for me. It took me a long time and a lot of frustration because I was really like, oh, this is really hard work. It was really tricky for me.
Mhm.
Um, and not labeling because like I don't like all these labels as well, but I have very high energy and particularly when I was eating certain foods, my energy would be very, very high and I would actually find it really tricky to be focused and conscious and present. So imagine this, I'm now telling myself, oh, now you have to really listen to everything this person's saying. And what kind of lesson will come? It will come in the form of someone who probably talks really slowly and and they have something to say and this is what it does. The moment you put that intention and you say, no, I'm going to listen to everyone's words, I'm going to value them. And if I have something that I feel that would benefit that person and add it, then I will speak. And it won't come then in this fun kind of exchange. It's, oh, this is easy. It's going to come in a test, in a challenge. Can you be respectful of everybody's words, not just people that you want to listen to? And sometimes what they share, you actually don't want to hear. That might be something that you don't agree with and you want to, express that straight away. But oh, wait, respect their words, respect their time. Now, can you pause and in a respectful, loving way, still honoring their words, get your point across now in the most harmonious way for both? Not just agreeing with them, because that is an expansion. Because essentially, who's right and wrong?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I went on a.
So how to put like that word? No, like okay, say you are saying something nice, uh, and then if I jump in the middle, I'll be breaking the your like stream, no, like what is coming from you, no. So then, because that person's mind, it happens when sometimes like when you're explaining something and then suddenly somebody pops up with a question. Yeah, that is their question. I understand, but sometimes yeah, there's something like you have to. Then it goes in a total another direction, maybe. No. this also happens, right?
Yeah. But this is the other thing is there's no right, there's no wrong, but it
Mm-hmm.
all goes back to us. What's our intention? So my intention was to really, really be present and really honor and listen to other people's words. So because I set myself that intention, I that doesn't mean that I am expecting everybody around me now to be also doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the one in command. So, yeah, if that person interrupts or changes the flow of that conversation, that wasn't my intention to now educate that person or react to that person and kind of expect them to also be carrying out the same intention as me
Mm-hmm.
because we're all different consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like so many times, like when you get like when you're there's such a thing of like I was reading something recently even about relationships, and it's like if you are trying to change someone, you need to be thinking about how you're showing up in that, because we're not here to change people. We're
Mm-hmm.
here to always reflect back on ourselves. If someone is displaying something that we don't like, this is the reflection of us, not them, because who are we to change someone else?
Mm-hmm.
We accept it, or and I'm not saying accept like and be and not voice how you feel, but I mean like essentially everyone has free will to be the person they want to be, whether we think that's a good characteristic, a good value or not. um we are in charge of how we show up in everything, personal, professional,
Mm-hmm.
with whatever
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Yeah. And this frees us from like things like mental blockages, and all those kind of maybe even negativity, right? Which are
Mm,
associated, even things like curious, like how to say, like doubt, limited beliefs, these
yeah,
kind of things, no? But like
yeah.
you said, the society, the programming, and all, it plays its role also, no? Even the school
Mm,
system
yeah,
and all like you listen first, no, and then uh, or speak when you are asked to, no? It also happens some places, right?
yeah, yeah. But if you think about it, there's no wrong in that either, because we haven't actually really taught those children what that word means.
Mhm, mhm,
Like essentially for them, which is probably why we end up having these things come into our, adult life is, yeah, they think listening is waiting until there's an appropriate space to speak.
mhm,
That's what they think listening is, but actually that's not listening.
mhm.
That's waiting to speak.
So when is the time to like this proper listening should happen? Is it like a response that you make?
So, like, when I think about it, because essentially, as well, technically, we should always really be listening. If we are taking that time now, like to connect with someone, we're honoring that time in that space, then we essentially are saying that this time with them right now, I value it. So, if we are valuing that time just to offload and just splurt out everything that we want to get out of our system,
Mhm,
then we need to reassess what purpose that person plays in our life.
mhm,
Are they someone that we just want to connect with just to release kind of something onto them that we don't want to hold inside anymore, regardless of whether we value their opinions or not?
mhm,
Or actually, do we need to always respond? Or can we just listen?
mhm,
Because just because someone's speaking, that doesn't mean you always have to respond. And I think that was a big thing for me as well, because I used to be very uncomfortable with not speaking, like just leaving the silence. That really
mhm,
was uncomfortable for me.
mhm,
because I was kind of brought up in a house where like there were so many very strong personalities that you had to fight to speak. Like, there wasn't even waiting for a gap. It was like we were just
Mhm.
speaking over the top of each other just to get in some sort of like, I don't know, acknowledgement. So yeah.
Yeah. I also was like very talkative before, and but now it's like the opposite. Uh, but it's actually listening for me because I didn't listen. No, those days like I would not listen to and then now it's like there's a lot of interest on listening to other people, but I'm putting my
Mm,
whole attention and everything. Uh, and I just want to like learn or like share what they're sharing, no?
yeah,
Because it's their
yeah,
time, energy, and no their experiences. No, so I kind of like give value to that. So that is also listening, right?
yeah, yeah. Um, because often I believe as well, like everything that happens in our life is for a reason. So we don't know in listening to that other person what actual message we maybe might need to receive. And sometimes, no, we don't like hearing sometimes what people have to say.
Mhm.
But then that's a reflection back on us, something we need to work through.
Yeah. So some places it's called like universal creative force also. So in spiritual sense also, yeah, these things brought up, no? Uh,
Yeah.
so how would we relate to that uh, as a spiritual sense? So there's
In
external
what way?
energy. Yes.
In what way do you mean?
Yeah, like when you say like it's as a universal creative force. Uh, if you take this consciousness and if you look into that, okay, like divine inspiration, right? Or
Yes.
universal mind or cosmic intelligence. No, these kind of words we can use. So it is like we are
Mm-hmm.
breaking that how to say separation, uh, and then we are unifying with that uh, totalness. So actually, we are letting like lot of feed come into us, right? Through that,
Mm.
which
Mm.
makes us in connect to abundance. So it could be a
Yeah.
skill or anything, the artwork or anything what you are passionate about. And then when that happens, like it seems like ideas and all this, it's coming out of nowhere.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a thing that happens, no, like the effort you are putting, and it sometimes feel like very rough. But when you like let go of it and like submerge into that moment, uh,
Mm.
all the restrictions and everything seems to disappear.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
happens in artists and people who make pots, no, pottery and any kind of place. No, you are a
Yeah.
dancer, right? You also know this, right?
Yeah. Like I know exactly what you mean. Particularly when I dance and I paint, it feels like maybe 30 minutes to me and it could be 3 hours. Easy.
Mm-hmm. Or 3 hours.
Easily. Yeah. Like it's like I'm just in this. It's actually very meditative for me as well. Like
Mhm.
I just have, say, usually I like obviously I set the scene a little bit. So in a lot of things that I like to do, like even when I'm in my home, I don't always like the big lights on. I like candles and like lighting. Um and I'll just have on my music and I'll just be in complete creative flow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even musicians go into that zone, no? And you see, like
Yeah.
they are so like a trance, they say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's no tiredness. Even in meditation, that happens. Eh? And 1 hour just flies
That's the
by like
thing. Yeah,
5 minutes. It just goes by. Yeah.
exactly. And that's why it's so important to really connect with like, it's okay to listen to other people's experiences, but what is your creative flow?
Mhm.
What do you like to do? So, for example, like you just said about meditating, like, for example, when I did the 5-day silent retreat, and I know, okay, it was in silence, but what maybe was 10 minutes felt like 3 hours to me, and it was like, ooh. Whereas like another person, like I could see across, and they were just in pure bliss.
Mhm.
They were just like, you could just see like so at peace at home, and then I was just like, oh. But then someone else, if I said, oh yeah, we're going to come around my house and let's paint for 3 hours, they're probably like, no, absolutely not. And I'm not setting that intention,
Yeah,
but
sure,
I
sure,
just get
sure.
so into
Uh,
it.
you might ask what I could paint, like your house or something, no? For 3 hours, no?
Exactly. But for me, it's like, it's only because I've checked the time. Like for me, it doesn't feel like 3 hours. It feels like
Sure, sure.
30 minutes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But again, I'm not tired. I'm like fueled. I'm like, you know, my energy is like really high. Like you'd think doing a static dance for 3 hours or something that I would be absolutely tired. And like I can't almost sometimes even have a conversation at the end because my energy is so high and
Mhm.
I'm just so almost like pumped. And you would think you should be tired. You've just danced for 3 hours. And when I say dance, I'm not just like, I'm full on dancing, but I'm just like bouncing about like, oh! Yeah.
So, Shell, how can it like tap into this creative energy or consciousness?
Um, Again, it goes back to, do you know actually some of the best ways you can really, really go back to what you used to love to do is when you're a child. What
Mm.
did you do as a child, right? A child actually is the one in control of their timetable. They're
Mm.
choosing, not every child was climbing a tree. Not every child was sitting on a computer screen. Not every child was running around the field.
Mm.
Whatever we were all doing. And I'm not saying that's what you need to go and do, but
Mhm.
there would have been some sort of clue or some repetitive action that you would do for hours. For example, I used to do lots of acting. Like I would be in a playground, a car park with just markings, but in my eyes, that would be like different houses, and I'd say that that's your house to my friend, that's my house, and we would like be in our houses. There's nothing in the car park,
Mhm.
and like we would make songs or we would reenact films we'd watched or stories we'd read. But I never was sat on a computer. That was just me. I never was. I was up a tree or I was going on an adventure. Like everything I realized was very heavily not in this world, very imaginative. Like I would see something and that would be a little fairy house, or like I would collect little newts and they'd be my babies and I'd push them on the swings. Like,
Uh-huh.
so when I go back into that, of course, this whole painting and imaginative side is something that I put so much of my time into as a child. If you were running all the time or going hiking, maybe that's something that would really bring that creativity and that flow, getting back out in nature, start really, go and seeing those beautiful views or getting up at, before sunrise.
Mhm.
Think about it, go for it. And if you're checking your watch and you're counting the hours, then no, it's not for you. So it's just going back to what is something you love to do, not what someone tells you is going to make you feel better. Go running. Running's incredible. No, for some people, that isn't something that's going to be enjoyable for them. They're going to keep doing it. Be like, ugh, this is, counting the hours. So when you get those really incredible ideas, that's because you are really in your creative flow.
Oh.
You're just like doing golf or going swimming or
Mhm.
whatever it is you used to love to do.
It's kind of like a gut feeling, no? That comes,
Yeah.
yeah, no, within you.
Yeah. And it doesn't again have to be from your childhood, it could be an adult. And like I know it's a bit dramatic, but
Uh-huh.
I know someone that once a week they used to go to this place. It was just a place in Dubai, and basically you could go there and you could just smash things. And like
Really?
for them, they were just like, yeah. And like, they probably worked out 10 times harder than if someone said to them, go to the gym, go on the running machine, go do this. They were just picking up washing machines and throwing them and
Wow.
like they
Uh-huh.
just exactly. But like someone wouldn't say like, oh, that's exercise. Well, actually, if you really look at
Yeah.
what that doing and they're not even thinking about it, it's like, but then they would be on that treadmill and they'd be counting the hours, maybe, and being like,
Mhm.
oh, this is, but for them, that's their adrenaline, that's their rush. And then, they might leave that kind of event and be like, do you know what? I'm going to go and ring that person now. I'm going to go and do those clients, like connect to those clients now because
Mhm.
they have that like adrenaline, that passion, and that fire back within them.
Mhm. So, yeah, otherwise you start counting the calories, no, all these things, and how much did you lose. Then the foods, you have to make all those procedures, no? But just take a washing
Mm.
machine, that's right, no? Yeah.
Exactly. I bet you if they put that in a gym and said, right, today, lads, let's get round. We're going to throw the washing machine. What? Okay, right, let's pick it up. Oh no, let's work out the weight. No, just throw the washing machine.
all, all body workout, right?
Exactly.
And another key thing is like we have to let go of the perfections, no? Because
Exactly.
yeah, they can be like it's not you, right? We compare, the comparison is there always, no? And then because there's always something to compare with, no? Then you that is the way you make the perfection, right? What you
Yeah,
saw on internet or TV, I don't know, no? Or things you have seen before. So that doesn't allow you to be you, right? Uh, so it happens from childhood and all these things, uh, but at least now we can look more into that, no, more openly.
exactly. We have that freedom, that power now. We have, whatever way, the finances, make it happen, go for it,
Mm-hmm.
do it. Step outside the box, the comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
and really, really tap into that creative energy. And creativity isn't always about the creative arts. It's any aspect in every business. There needs to be a creative thinker
Mm-hmm.
because you have to think creatively. If this product's not selling, or this the rival company is, whatever, you need to think of a way. Okay, yeah, we can stick to the protocol and we can stick to the way we've done it for years, and this is how it works. And okay, yes, stick to that, and I'm sure you will get the exact same results.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. But do we want the exact same, or do we want to push outside of this? Do we want to grow more and expand? So that's where the creativity comes. And yeah, that does come at a cost because you have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to trust. And sometimes the greatness is beyond that discomfort. And often the results will not be straight away. It will let you sit a little bit in that discomfort and really make you sweat and be like, oh, go back to the protocol. We knew this wasn't going to happen. We knew it was going to fail. Stop. Give yourself time, trust, believe, and you never know, then the miracle comes.
Mm-hmm. And this has many benefits, no? When you see, like, one is like, how to say, like you can have like a deeper self awareness about yourself. uh, even
Yeah.
aspects you did never know that was possibilities, no, that kept what was kept away or hidden maybe. So
Yeah.
you can open up, right, at some point in life.
Exactly. I
Even
was listening to
sure.
something recently
Yeah,
actually, and
please.
they were saying about the 1%. Do you really think the 1% are doing the same as everybody else?
Mm-hmm,
No.
mm-hmm,
But do you think that 1% they still have to keep pushing themselves, keep challenging themselves, keep trusting and believing? They don't have a miracle protocol. They just have a unwavering courage and belief in themselves, and
mm-hmm,
just a knowing that they're not in that same category of doing the same as everybody else.
mm-hmm,
They're there to be change makers, to be way showers, to push that border, that line, whatever it is, just that little bit more. And that's why they live their lives differently.
mm-hmm. Oh, that's what interesting. Yeah, and healing, it's a great thing for healing also, right? Uh,
Yeah,
you you were
absolutely.
caught in like maybe trauma or something had happened, or like within your journey. So
Mm,
this creative consciousness really helps because you try to connect, no, you try to open up, uh, and
yeah,
even expand, no. So it really helps the healing process.
yeah. And that's the thing is naturally, if you really listen to anyone who's successful, they, they don't just have the little cute, perfect product or whatever it is at the end.
Hmm.
They have a journey. And that journey is is not always pretty. It's not always um, you know, going on holiday or living for the weekend, or it's actually, who cares if it's Saturday or it's Sunday? I had stuff to do. I
Hmm.
have a dream to make, because ultimately, in me really believing in myself and putting in the effort now and the time to make happen what I know is something that I deserve, consciously creating it. Who cares if it's a Saturday? Who cares if it's a Sunday? Who cares if it's a Monday?
Hmm.
Let's stop thinking about these, these again storylines of like, oh, this is how people should behave because it's Saturday and this is how it should happen. No. Again, are you breaking the mold? Are you thinking outside the box? Are you maybe not doing what the majority are doing in order for really impactful transformational change and really making your life different?
Hmm. Uh, that brings like alignment with the purpose, no? What we
Yeah,
are supposed to do or what we need to do, uh, more than
yeah,
the wants, no, the needs, right?
yeah.
So to wrap things up, how about like showing some methods of how to do this, no? Methods and ways uh, how to do, no, like bring this energy to yourself, no?
Okay, so do you have any in mind, or do you want me to share
Yeah, we
some?
both share.
Yeah, perfect.
Go
How about
for
you share some? Because I would love to
it.
know. I would love to, yeah, I would love to know your take on this.
Yeah, I would go for like mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. You should, that's the thing. You should absolutely own that, because again, that's something that's really important in your life. Um, and I love that. Like, absolutely, that's something that really keeps you grounded, I'm guessing, keeps you present, keeps you focused, keeps you in alignment. And that's really important.
And more we go deeper, or deeper, not in that sense, like it's like in some places there are beautiful terms like uh, vivato virochati. That means more, it's open, more it shines. Uh,
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
beautiful. No, it says vivato virochati. Yeah, so it's like more it's open, but more it's shrouded, it doesn't shine, right? So likewise,
Mm,
uh, actually what we are doing through meditation, people think like we close our eyes and stay and all, but no, we are opening up actually. Sometimes
oh,
it's mentioned as a lotus flower blooming, right? uh, so
yeah,
in its on its own accord, but we help it out, which is
yeah,
us in the another sense, right? So
beautiful.
stillness is a great thing that can help many things to grow. Uh,
Mm,
so
yeah,
even in outside, like if you are planting a plant or something and you are always shaking it, it won't grow, right? No? So you're like, what?
picking up the seed to look. Oh, it's still not
Yeah.
growing.
The plant will ask like, what is with you, no? And then so it doesn't give them even the roots to grow, right? So and
Exactly.
so yeah, stillness. So it's in some places it's called like you have this rich patch of land and you are like removing the weeds of it. Then
Mm,
the soil and is so fertile, anything grows so well. So you're just clearing it, or you're like smoothing it out in a way
mm,
like you can plant anything in that. So this
beautiful.
is like the first step of like you can go in any direction after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, breath meditations, guided creative visualizations, even there are mantra meditations and all. So
Mm.
uh, what is your take on this?
Again, ultimately, I feel like all the things that we've discussed prior to this,
Yes, sir.
all come back round of,
Yeah, yeah.
first of all, just being so grateful for already, just being present and so grateful for what already is in your life. And again, just being really conscious and very intentional about those intentions and goals, dreams, visions that we're really putting out. Um, and another thing for me is like often when we put out these powerful intentions, things start to align in our life. So all of a sudden we start overhearing a conversation that's similar to something, and it won't always be like someone outright offering you something, but they might talk about I don't know, that their auntie has a business, and then it's like, oh, I'm looking for someone actually.
Mhm.
And so this is the thing, when we are kind of all over the place and we're not present, we're not conscious, we're not anchored, we're not really just being mindful in the present moment that we are in right now, we miss things.
Mhm, mhm,
Because there's a reason why you felt the need to, or to go to that event, or you were invited to that party, or whatever it is. In every situation and every interaction, there's always something you can take from it. And
mhm,
I don't mean take like in the sense of like what's in it for me. I don't mean it in that.
mhm,
Even if like what we say, if you someone's talking and they're talking so slowly and maybe you're not engaged with what they're saying, you are taking something from that situation about yourself.
mhm,
You are learning something about yourself. It's okay, to just want to attract the ideal clients and the perfect situations and the best relationships, but actually, is that growth? No.
mhm,
In order for us to expand and grow, sometimes we have to keep being put in those situations or with those people in order to to actually be able to adapt and be mindful, respectful, and conscious of all things that are presented in our lives,
Mhm.
not just the things that we think are for our best interest. In every situation, there is a lesson, there is a blessing, and often an opportunity. But if we just really slow down, just really connect, and just be conscious, we will see it more.
Mhm. Okay. So, yeah. And just like any other practices, there are like journaling, and just like you mentioned, Shell, like even things like dance, flow movements, no, using
Mm,
the body, embodied practices. So, yeah, and so many things it's possible to do. And you also mentioned this; it is beautiful, like connecting with the inner child. So that's a
yeah,
big thing, no? That is a
yeah,
like
yeah,
in many aspects, it's a great thing. And being in a child,
yeah.
yeah, like I remember a person said like, yeah, recently, this is like a lady in her middle ages and all, and she said like, I want to laugh more. Uh, and no, like she really meant it, no? And
Yeah,
to, she wanted that to happen. So it's good to laugh and be silly, even, no? Without this ideology and all this getting stuck up in something, no? Because
yeah,
she also said it's not forever, no? So I want to, even the rest of my part, I want to be happy, I want to laugh, no? And really feel
yeah.
it.
And I guarantee when you connect back with her, she will have had more laughter enter her life.
Mhm.
But also, she would have probably had situations
Yeah, yeah.
where is she able to see the funny side of it,
Mhm.
you know? Because again, it's all about perspective.
Mhm.
Like today, when I was walking, which I told you about, and that car like just went past and like drenched me in water, and it's like, yeah, I could have been absolutely angry and like, but it's wasted energy.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
chose to put my wellies on, to go out walking in the rain. I chose to walk near that puddle, knowing that a car could go past and splash me. What happened? And what did I do? I laughed. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
come on, Sally. Like, you knew what was going to happen.
Uh, and sometimes you can give yourself some silent time to let this happen, uh, and just see, like just that, not in a stressful way or anything. Just see like what is happening inside, no, your mind, uh, what it can bring up,
Yeah.
or just relax it comfortably or lay down, and then you can just see, like a child is watching the clouds, maybe. Uh, and
Yeah,
just see what happens, right? And you
definitely.
mentioned many things here, like, and even nature. It's a beautiful place to be. So walking in nature,
Yeah.
all these things, feeling it, no? Um,
Yeah.
it's a great way to
Very
connect
calm.
because we are that, right? Um,
Yeah,
uh, and we can take some inspiration, but from others, even, right?
of course.
Like you
Mm.
mentioned that 1% of people, those things are inspirational, no? Or some life
Mm.
stories of people.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. Definitely. So yeah, I would just kind of suggest just being playful with it a little bit. Just, you know, not putting too much expectations on yourself, like what I said about when I was first learning how to actively listen and to really listen to another person. That didn't happen straight away. I had to really work that muscle, just like going to the gym. I had to practice it because for me it was so out of the norm and not the way I used to think should function. But I didn't want to keep cutting people off or butting in or waiting to speak. I wanted to be able to really listen to another person.
Mhm.
And so I worked on it. And as a result of that, now my relationships are so much more meaningful and impactful. And people really feel it. People really feel when they feel seen and heard.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it's an important thing to be really conscious of.
Mhm. Mhm. So with that conscious mind, so let's wrap up things for today, though. So thank you,
Yeah,
Shell. It was great. Your input was magnificent, and so many things, no, like from all angles and aspects. So hopefully, like this can help many people, and this will be around for a long time. And anybody who wants to contact surely can contact. We'll be putting the details, no, in the post as well as the video, and hope you all have this creativeness and within your consciousness, and let it arise, and may it bring you all the good it can present you.
absolutely. And thank you so much. I value our collaborations, our connection, our really empowering conversations all the time. I really look forward to this time each week where we can connect and just freely and openly speak. Like I didn't even know what was going to come up today, but as always, I feel like we always just say the right thing at the right time in the right way for the right person that will hear it at the right time.
Mhm.
So thank you so
Mhm.
much,
Thank
and thank everybody who has listened to this and supported us. And as always, we love to hear your feedback. Um, and yeah, sending just so much love and transformation and growth and expansion and all those beautiful progressive words to everybody.
Okay, then hope to see you all again.
Adios,
Okay.
amigos.
That's pretty creative, right?